Russell.
And what is it that you coach, Mr. Russell?
I coach track and cross country at Bravo Medical Magnet.
Is there any other profession that you do?
I'm an English teacher.
Okay. So what made you decide on being a cross country and track coach?
I think that from the very start when I started my running career as a sophomore in high school, then I just knew that that's what I wanted to do.
And what education did you have to become a cross country and track coach?
Well, I had to go to college and I majored in English, but I had a minor in physical education.
Okay.
Took some coaching classes, both at the community college that I went to and then when I went to Occidental College. So I have a minor in PE.
Okay. And what is your coaching philosophy?
To kind of share the passion that I have for the sport and to give people the opportunity to maximize their potential as runners and as people.
And what has been your greatest success throughout your coaching career?
You know, I think one of the things that's really a highlight is like if I just happen to be going out and running in the park, say like on a Sunday, and somebody will come running by who was on our team, 10, 15 years ago, and to see them like still running, that's pretty amazing.
And how long has your coaching career been?
I started in 1990, so I can't do the math, but it's a lot.
And what's the greatest loss or disappointment that you've had as a coach?
I think probably one of the things that's been really the saddest is to see somebody with a lot of potential either not actualize it or else, maybe like drop out. I can think of some people who were really, really good and they were with us for a while and then for whatever reason they went on to something else.
How did you know you wanted to be a coach? Like you said that you took an interest in it, but how did you know like this is what I really want to do? This is my passion.
I think it's because I loved running so much. I mean, to think that I started running in like 1962 and here it is in whatever year it is and I'm still, still running, that it just was something that was really fun for me. It was fun to achieve and to grow as a runner. So I think that was kind of like the motivation.
And how close do you get with your athletes? Or is it something like, oh, I can talk to you about my family? Or is it something like, oh, you're here for the season and that's it?
I'm not a really very gregarious and social person. So I'm not going to be one of those people who is going to be, getting that involved in somebody's personal life. I wish I did more, but it's just really alien to my personality.
What kind of coach would you describe yourself? Are you the kind that's very hands-on with your athletes, like making sure their practices are such and such a way, or is it that you give your athletes leeway to do their own practices and work on whatever
I think
they need to do?
a lot of my coaching philosophy would be to point the way, but not, set it in motion and then let it go, because I think it has to come from like inside the person. If I have to be like really haranguing at somebody, I don't think that's as good. I really like to have student leaders or athlete leaders who become the mentors of the younger ones. I think that's something that we've done really well here.
What's some advice that you would give to athletes or future coaches who want to go and coach cross country or track?
You got to love it because it's such a demanding, it takes so much time and so much energy. It's something that you really, really have to love. It's something that you obviously don't go into it for the money. I don't think, personally, because I'm not going into it for fame, reputation, or anything like that, because I don't think it's me. I always think it's the athlete is the one that's important. I think that they deserve all the credit. They should get all the credit. The credit shouldn't go to the coach. So you have to be selfless and really want the best for people. Expect the best from the people on the team.
And you don't have to say like specific numbers, but around what is the pay wage or your salary yearly?
See, that's a really interesting thing that I couldn't tell you at all because it's something that's never really been very interesting at all to me.
Uh-huh.
I would do it if I were doing it for free.
Okay.
So I'm not a money type person, but like if you asked me how much I'm earning as a teacher, I couldn't tell you that either. So.
And what was the biggest cross country or track team that you've had?
Around 150 is probably the biggest that we've had. Just a little bit under or a little bit over.
Do you get the parents involved with the sports, cross country, track, SRLA?
Particularly the last several years, the parents have been amazing. Probably more so in cross country and than in track, because we do more Saturday things for cross country. Yeah, but amazing parents, how much they've done to help us.
One of the things that we've talked about in our class was student athletes. Do you see your athletes as students first and athletes second, or athletes first and students second?
It's really hard for me to say. I mean, the easy answer is just say, okay, yeah, students first and athletes second. But I don't know. I think you have to do both. I think you're equally committed to both things. And you have to make compromises here and compromises there. But I think the athletics is really important. When I think about my high school years, I remember much more about my athletics than I do about my academics.
So do you make sure that the students focus more on their athletics versus their academics, or do you make sure they prioritize their academics before the athletics?
I think that they have to prioritize the things. And when we have kids, they've got to go to their chemistry lab, but then they also have to make up their practice.
And could you give me a typical rundown of what your practices are like, or a really good workout class for you?
We start with some general strengthening exercises and thinking about really for both track and cross country. They're strength, and then warm up. We always try to be incorporating some hill stuff in there and some drills. And then the key factor of the workout for today, whatever kind of a workout it is, and then we try to finish off with some other strengthening exercises and some stretching at the end.